welcome to the start of another episode of Haunted Adventures. In this one, we're going to be covering a lot of Beaver Creek areas. Not probably all of them, because there's like a million legends, but just kind of that surrounding area. And as you see, as we're approaching Bowman Cemetery, if you know nothing about this place, basically, it's impossible to find unless you know where it's at. Yeah.
It's funny that there's a sign, because it's literally off a gravel
Yes.
road.
So like if I turn around here and you look up there is where we parked, but there actually is there's a block, and I might like film that better later. You can kind of see it. There's a gate. So yeah, it's funny that there's a sign there because you know where you are if you're going here. We have the Kim. Almost called you the Mill.
I'm the Mill.
Just gonna kind of. It is a nice, like, little scenic walk in the woods. When we first came here, there was no sign at all. Like, the first time I think we ever came here, like, I don't even know how many years ago that was. How many years ago would that have been, Mel? Like,
7, 8?
Yeah, I would say probably about 8 was the first time we ever came.
Over that. We drove up.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually drove the car in there. There didn't used to be gates. It is a very hot day. But yeah, this is kind of the nice little view you get when you get up here. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of film the whole walk there. There you go, there's your grand review of the cemetery.
So the legend behind the cemetery is that there was a woman who was asked by the villagers to take care of their ailing children. More and more children kept getting sick, and she was trying her best to make them better, but it wasn't happening. The villagers ended up thinking she was a witch and that she was making all the children sick, so they hung her from a tree. Before she died, she cursed the village and said that she would come back for her revenge. The legend is that she haunts the outside of the cemetery, and you can hear footsteps and strange noises from the outside of the cemetery, but she cannot actually come into the cemetery. The cemetery itself is said to be haunted by all the children that died from this epidemic.
Right. And again, everything we're going to be talking about, these are kind of like legends. Like, we've done some research, we haven't, like, dug real deep. So if, like, something, like, if you know for a fact that some of the stuff we say isn't necessarily accurate, because again, a lot of these are like the most common stories, and like there are some things we found out that are for sure false. This is kind of one of those ones where it's like I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Yeah. I mean, I definitely could believe that part of it's true. Like, I could definitely see them thinking that I don't think she put a curse on them because she wasn't really a witch. So I find that interesting with this story is they're like, oh, she wasn't a witch, but then as they're killing her, she put a curse on them.
Right.
And I believe this was the tree, right? The tree that you're sitting in front of. This was the one where...
I think they said that it was in the cemetery.
Yeah, I think it might be this, but I'm not, we're not 100% sure. Yeah. So over here is actually where I had kind of a weird experience, where you were here that night too. Yeah. Mel was, but it was me and another friend of mine at the time. We were over here, and Mel and the other people were on that side of the cemetery, and we heard what sounded like footsteps over there, and we thought, oh, it must be like an animal or something. So we actually came over and we were listening, and then we heard something run at us, like running through the leaves. Like, these were heavy steps, and we were like, oh shit. So we ran because there was nothing running at us. We heard it running at us, but there was nothing there. So we ran over there, and we told, if you want to show over there, we ran over to the far corner there, and we told them, and then we all stood silently over there, and we could hear footsteps like walking around us in circles.
Something running towards us that was trying to chase us that way into the cemetery, so
yeah.
us out of it.
And I found it funny because, as Kim said, when we were looking stuff up, that is one of the things that people hear a lot, is they don't hear stuff always in the cemetery, but on the perimeter, which is, like I said, we heard it on the edge there, and then it was hard to tell where there. It kind of sounded like it was around us, though. So I was like, oof. And that's one of the creepiest things that ever happened. Like I said, in that night, there was seashells with candles that had been burnt pages of what I think was a Bible. Like a Bible was ripped up and burnt. Not sure if it was a Bible. And then there was like outlines drawn around a lot of the different stones, and this was one of the ones that had it. There's like this weird shape. It wasn't a pentagram, it was just a weird shape, and then on each corner had the seashells with the candles, so it was creepy. And so this over here is one of the more sad, I just thought I heard something, headstones in the place. As you can see, there are all children. All of them are just a couple of years old. And I think it's more or less a family site, but there's been, if there's going to be paranormal activity someplace, I would believe it would be here. For one reason, because a lot of times there are markers that are not here right now that are just wooden crosses, and people come and kick them down. And as you see, oh God, bugs keep biting me. And as you see, a lot of people come and like they kick over the tombstones. I mean, it's really sad. I don't know why someone would want to do that. So if you do decide to come here, if you live close, don't be a jerk that does this kind of stuff. We've had experiences with creepy people coming up actually and trying to get us to drink alcohol and do things with them, and we just left. And I had my cousin. She was here, and now she's a nurse. She's not someone that would just make stuff up or anything, she's mature, but she actually saw people that looked, she said it was over here, dressed up in KKK outfits. They didn't interact with them at all. They just left when they saw that. So the place is very creepy for multiple reasons, and one of the only places that at night still gives me the creeps. So it'll be interesting to actually come here and try a few different things like the ghost box and that good stuff. We're at the Pioneer Village. So a few things about this place. A lot of the things here are actually just replicas, but not everything. The mill, the bridge, and the lock, which we'll go over there in a minute, can't see it from here, are actually real things. I believe the bridge was moved here, correct?
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that in a minute.
We're at Lock 36 over by the village. This is been fairly newly restored. 1991, I believe it was restored. Not really sure when it was actually built. We think it was around the same time as the mill. Some people think this is Jake's Lock. Jake's Lock is another legend of a worker that was working on building some of these locks that are in this area, and he tragically passed away. And the legend is that he is seen carrying his lantern. Sometimes he's not there, it's just the lantern glowing in the middle of the night. Whether or not Jake's Lock actually exists, nobody really knows. Nobody really has confirmed where it is exactly, so we don't even know if it actually exists.
It's the Thomas J. Malone covered bridge. So this is not its actual original location, but this is an actual bridge. This is not a replica, as I stated earlier. It actually used to be the Middle Run and Elk Run Township in the 1870s, and that was between Lisbon and Elkton. Off the highway. It was actually converted to a storage shed there. A park committee in that. It was 1971. They basically tore it all down, and then they moved it all over here, and obviously it is no longer an active bridge as far as like anything besides people going through it, but it is in fact a real bridge. Now as far as hauntings go, there's like legends of basically just like a not very nice spirit that doesn't like people on this bridge. We've ghosted it here a little bit. Haven't really got much. I don't know if we really had any EVPs or anything, but I mean, it definitely has the history, and I know a lot of times in the bridges, like, from that early on, would have different tragedies. So I don't know of any like facts based on that, but I'm sure something's happened. So, all right, so this is Gaston's Mill. Actually is a sign, which is convenient for us. It was built in 1830. Something that was actually really cool about this that I didn't know is it obviously is like a typical mill that was ran by water, but it was apparently converted to steam and gas engines. So obviously this thing is extremely old. I don't know of any reportings, and it's something you can't really go into unless you're coming to one of their festivals, but I would definitely say the building has a super creepy rustic vibe, especially when they actually have it running. Not too much in far of the paranormal with this place, but historical nonetheless. Basically, all of these buildings here, there's like the blacksmith shop, the chapel, and then up on the hill there is, I believe, one of those is like a school, and I think the other one's like a replica house, maybe?
Yeah.
Except they are not real. They are just replicas. So I don't really know if there are any reportings of hauntings, but if there are, I really don't know how that could be founded, considering no one's ever lived there. Maybe it's the wood. But again, I haven't really heard of much. Now we're just on the back of Gaston's here. But it is cool during the festivals because they actually will have a blacksmith, the blacksmith shop, and stuff like that. So it's really cool to actually go in those buildings, though.
Okay. So we are at the site of the Williams homestead. As you can tell, it's a luxurious house that no longer stands. It actually burnt down quite a few years back. But it was actually part of this area. Actually, the mill, the house, and a barn were all sold to Beaver Creek as part of a deal. Blanche Williams is the woman that lived in the house. She was also known as Grandma. A lot of people would come and visit her because she still lived here till she was like 99 years old. The haunting reports, people have heard Grandma. They've gotten EVPs of her, things moving around, her making noises. One of the things that, if you knocked on the door when it was here, she would knock back. That was one of the things. I actually had an experience here some years ago. I came here for a ghost hunt that another group had put on. And we actually got to go inside Grandma's house. While we were in there, one of the fellow tour people were taking like a selfie on a really old flip phone. That's how long ago this was. And when they looked at the photo to see how it came out, Grandma was standing behind them, like kind of peeking around their shoulder like this. And the only reason we knew it was her was because there were photographs of Grandma in the house. She used to always wear her hair up high in a bun. And she'd always wear like really tall collar shirts. And it looked exactly like her. It wasn't a photograph or anything like that. It was like she was there taking a photo with these two people. So if you know these people, we'd love to see this photograph again because this was like many, many, many years ago. I'd love to see that photograph again because it was really pretty cool when it happened. We also had a towel move in the kitchen when we asked it to. It would just like kind of flutter and there wasn't any wind in there. So that was kind of cool too. But that's it for Grandma's house.
Kim found her natural kitchen. Making something good for us? Christ. We are back at Bowman's now at night. It's only a lot creepier feeling. It's done a very light amount of storming, so maybe we'll get a little bit more activity or something. The cemetery, it's like the trees are like a doorway, you know what I mean? It's like its own like little natural entryway. All right. And we are back. Okay, so I have a hard time focusing. All right. So let's go up here. We'll kind of go just right up here in the middle. Set the tripod up. And start doing some things.
So it's raining around us.
We can hear it all around us in the trees. And I'm assuming we'll just be quiet for a sec, see if it picks up on microphone.
Sure. Big bug.
There's a lot of bugs, but that's really weird because I can hear the rain on the left, the right, in front of me.
I saw lightning.
Well, that's really strange. I don't understand.
There was no rain in the cemetery at all.
I mean, I hear it over there. Like, I can understand if it was coming towards us, but I hear it.
It was all around us.
Strange.
And
Well,
it's wide open above us. There's no trees. There's something in the woods back there.
yeah, there's something. So I will say this place is extremely freaky. We are going to start a ghost box session and just see what happens.
If there's anybody here with us right now, could you say hello? You don't have to be scared of us. We're not going to hurt you. If there's any children around, we're not going to harm you in any way. We'd just like to know who you are. Can you say hi? If there's anybody here that are not children, can you say hello? My name is Kim. Can you tell me your name? Do you like when people come to visit you?
Not much on that.
I bet you don't like when people come and destroy your tombstones.
There's traffic noise just a second ago there. You know, there's a rumor about, a witch that was hung here. Is that rumor actually true? If there's someone here with us right now, there's multiple ways you can communicate with us. Kim has those rods in her hand. You can cross them. You can also speak to us. There's also a box right over there by the broken tombstone, unfortunately, that you can touch and it'll light up. If there's someone here with us right now, can you let us know of your presence in one of those ways?
You can cross these if it's a yes. Or light up the little light there. Oh, or you could do that. That's fine too. Straighten them out. Thank you.
I feel rain now. It's raining down here.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. See an airplane.
What is your name?
Are you a man? Can you cross them if you're a man?
Are you Amelia?
Are you a woman? Can you cross these if you're a woman? Okay, thank you. Can you uncross them, please? Are you buried in this cemetery? Can you cross them for me, please, if you are? Okay, thank you. Can you uncross them, please? Could you point these in the direction of where your tombstone is? Alright, I'm going to turn. And I'm going to walk this way. And you cross these when I get to your tomb. To your grave, okay?
they crossing?
They are crossing. Can you uncross them for me, please? Does your first name start with a C? Can you cross these if it starts with a C? Okay, uncross them, please. Do you like when people come to visit you? Do you not like when people come to visit you because they tend to vandalize? Ooh, that was aggressive.
We're not here to do that.
Just so you know, we are here out of respect. We mean you no harm. We do not want to do anything to you, okay? Was there ever a witch? Can you cross these if there was? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Can you uncross these? Is she outside the cemetery? Can you cross these?
Can you uncross them?
Thank you.
Can you point to where she is outside the cemetery?
It's gonna go behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Does she want us to go where she is? If she does, okay. She does cross them. You might hear a lot of blowing. That's us blowing because there's a million bugs on us. All right. I don't think they're here. Let me get a different angle because it looked like they're crossed.
No. Does she want us to go into the woods where she is? Cross these if she does. There's like they're literally being pulled apart.
So you do not think that's what she wants then?
They're like literally being pulled. Like. Okay.
Well, let's go back over here. Well, kind of a storm. It is so strange. Yeah, like I said, I mean, like we'll get a couple sprinkles on us, but it sounds like it's constantly raining. It's so strange. Yeah, we keep hearing something. I mean, it could be an animal. But when you were asking questions over there, it sounded like it was either something fell from a tree or something was thrown at us. But it was like it sounded like something hit a tree, and then you heard it go thud under the ground.
Yeah. But it was closer to us than it was the trees that came to straight
And I
under
mean,
the tree.
I'm not saying that it's
No,
Bigfoot.
but that's why I said someone just thrown at us.
But I am saying that Bigfoot is very much known for Lusclock, which is literally across the road. The reason we're not going there is because it's like insanely overgrown.
And the road got washed out.
And the road got washed out, so like it's kind of inaccessible at the moment. But that's like one of the big things that Lusclock's known for, and it's less than like a mile from here. It's probably just because the whole cemetery is basically in a circle of woods. You really do get the feeling that you're just being watched from every direction when you're in the cemetery at night.
Yeah.
Honestly, even in the daytime a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You see the dowsing monsters move.
Can you straighten them out for me, please?
See, that's the thing that's freaky right there.
Do I remind you of somebody?
She reminds you of someone crossed them. So she doesn't remind you of anyone then, right? All right, uncross them. Do you like her? Okay, thank you. Uncross them.
There's my stomach, just in case that comes through.
You see?
Do you want her to stay here with you? Ugh, this bug just flew into my face.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry, I'll ask you again. Do you want her to stay here with you?
No.
Would you like her to visit you here again?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll uncross them.
Do you like me because I can sense you? That sounds like thunder.
Is that on focus on me, Mel?
Yeah.
So this isn't really a dowsing rod question, but if you can say as loud as you can, why do you like Kim? She doesn't remind you of anyone. It's not because she can sense you. What else would it be? Do you feel safe when she's around? Something thrown at us, or something just fall out of the tree? Cross it if something was thrown at us. That's good.
That's twice now. Tonight.
Oh, yeah, I know. Uncross them, please. Itch my leg. Okay. Are we not safe here? If we are not safe here currently, cross them. Oh, that's great.
Oh, good.
Well, that was one of those like strong ones where you just feel the
I
grind.
could see it get pulled, yeah. Okay. Should we leave? Can you cross those if we should leave now?
You don't want us to leave, do you? Uncross them.
Are you protecting us? Can you cross those? You're protecting us?
Do we make you feel more safe? Uncross them.
Is somebody else protecting us? Cross them if someone else is protecting us. Was there a spell of protection put on this cemetery? Can you cross those for me? That's why it's not raining.
You uncross them?
That's why it's not raining.
Is it a spell of protect? Because I've wondered, is it a spell of protection, or was it a cleansing? Yeah, that's what I thought. Because it used to be more active here with like weird. I mean, it still is weird, but so I was wondering because like when you asked that, they just kind of crossed, like not really, you know what I mean? So that's why I kind of felt that.
Do you feel safer after the cleansing?
Uncross.
Usually cleansings mean that they open the white light and it allows you to go into it. Allows you to go to the other side, to your family. Is there a reason why you did not go? Cross those if there is a reason you did not go. Do you just like being here? Can you cross them if you just like being here? Are you trapped here? Can you cross them if you are trapped? I knew that answer before it even happened.
Seeing, I will state this quickly as well. I've been trying to manipulate thought. Like when you asked the last one, in my head, because it's something I think we discussed off camera, is if like I'm manipulating them without knowing it, I was thinking cross, cross, cross. Not that one that they just crossed with the one before that, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
The one that if you were, what you asked before is if you were stuck here or
If
whatever.
you're stuck here, you like being here,
Yeah,
or are you trapped?
and she was trapped. So,
I'm getting goosebumps. It's literally like
all right,
right here.
what is?
They're literally like I don't know if you can see this on camera. And goosebumps all over my arms.
Make sure it's still focused on me, Mel, because sometimes it loses focus. Just make sure it's still.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you want help? And now I will preface this with saying that I don't think that we can provide this to you, but do you want help moving on from here? What I figured. Uncross them, please. He just gave me goosebumps, like the force that they. Yeah, ugh. Okay. Like I said, I don't know if we. I just clanged the dowsing rods together. I keep forgetting recording. I don't know if we can help you. We'd like to be able to, but we don't really have that ability. If someone already did a cleansing, but you know, we will say this. You know, just.
All right, can you
Let me ask.
put those up?
Yeah, let me ask. Are you scared, even though I know you want to move on, are you not moving on because you're scared to move on? Cross.
Are your children buried in here? Do you have children buried in here?
No.
Are you a child that is buried here? That's what she said. Child.
Can you see a white light? If you see a white light, cross those. Okay. Uncross them for me, please. You need to go into that light.
Will you do that? Will you go into the light? Just think, all these years of, you know, being stuck someplace that you say you're scared of. You know, you get to reconvene with your parents. I can only assume. I assume your parents are okay. Yeah. No crossing. Do you want to be with your parents?
Wow, I saw that move fast.
Uncross them, please. Thank you.
Okay, I need you to go into that light. Your family is there. No harm is going to happen to you. You need to go into that light. Okay? Can you cross those? Go into the light.
Don't be scared. It's weird. It's like it's hesitating. We need you to tell us you're going to go there. We'll stay here while you do. So you're going to do it? All right.
Go into the light and let go of those rods.
Let go. Go into the light. Are you still here?
Huh. Well, that was a time.
It almost felt like a strong emotion and then a peace like at the same time.
She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it like all of a sudden feels like significantly like warmer. I don't know. That was weird. What was also really weird is like they're like slowly uncrossing. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're slowly just like kind of like pulling apart. So the one when it kind of went like this, I accidentally like twitched a little bit. That one was me, but like the rest of it like was, especially this one. I didn't twitch on this one, but there's one moment where it kind of went like this a little bit, and that was because my arm twitched. But like the rest of it, like they were just slowly, just kind of like. Well, that was interesting. Well.
Okay. Rabbit.
So we are gonna wrap it up there. That was really interesting. Kind of like session, I guess, dowsing rod session we had there. So believe in dowsing rods, you know, as much, you know, if you want or not. But I happen to think they're really interesting, and we all kind of after that just kind of feel like almost like nothing anymore. And noticeably, I wish we had like a temperature thing like with us. We're gauging it before because I feel warmer now.
Yeah. No more goosebumps.
And I was feeling, because I was starting to get the goosebumps, especially towards the end there. And I don't know if it was like, you know, because of the situation and that, or if it was because of like something actually happening. I don't know. But it definitely felt kind of draining as well. Like it definitely felt draining. I don't feel actually as much now, which is weird, but like right after like we were kind of done with it, I felt fatigued for a couple of minutes. Like kind of like how you feel like when you kind of like crash down or something. And I have had coffee, but the crash lasts longer than that.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like looking forward to. I have like a half a coffee in the car,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I really need that right now.
So that was interesting, and it's weird because for the whole time we were here, I wouldn't say scared, but I felt like that being watched thing, as we mentioned earlier. But since that, I don't feel that anymore. I don't really feel any kind of creepiness. I do think it was kind of creepy that when we asked the question, she basically said we're not safe here.
Yeah, that was strange.
That was strange, yeah. But then also basically said that she was scared. So I wonder, it was almost like she thought like we weren't safe because of the fact that she could not pass on. You know, and like she feels we weren't safe because she doesn't want us to be in the same thing as her. I don't know, you know. I mean, no one has any definitive answers, but I found it interesting. Hopefully you guys found it interesting as well, and we're going to go over the recording and see if we got any voices on there. I'm definitely curious because the dowsing rods, I mean, there's times where they were like, I mean, like they were answering like as the question was being said, and I mean, like, you know, I'm standing as still as possible, and that's why I made sure to note any time that I knew that it moved because of me.
And like I knew the answers before they even would cross.
Right.
And I know that it probably picked up on the microphone that I did say, I was whispering a few things because I was saying that yes, and then they would cross.
Thank you guys for joining us on this, and we will see you in the next video.